Thanks for watching the NCWLIFE channel. I'm Granstrom, and today we're featuring the champions. That's right, the Wenatchee High School varsity volleyball team that won the WIAA State Championship. We're going to have the ladies introduce themselves. We've got Coach Jordan McGregor here as well. First of all, ladies, are you used to that? Are you, I mean, when you hear that, I mean, is it still kind of numb? I mean, you still don't feel it? Or?
It hasn't hit me yet personally.
Okay, before we get going too far, let's have you guys introduce yourselves one at a time.
I'm Bree Sackman and I'm a senior.
I'm Riley Jones and I'm a sophomore.
Hi, I'm Ava Jo Berry and I'm a junior.
I'm Maren Stuber and I'm a junior.
I'm Emmy Tucker and I'm a junior.
My name is Kira Demersion and I'm a junior.
I'm Claire Demersion and I'm a freshman.
I'm Journey Jelsing and I'm a freshman.
I'm Jalen Rasmussen and I'm a sophomore.
I'm Janissa Hepton and I'm a senior.
I'm Jess McGirvin and I'm a senior.
I'm Brevin Lunster and I'm a sophomore.
I'm Sienna Nall and I'm a sophomore.
I'm Nikki Reed and I'm a junior.
Well, right away you can tell that the future's bright for Wenatchee High School. Coach, talk about, well, first of all, taking over for Marnie and being handed something like this to try to do what you guys accomplished. Tell me about that off season and getting ready for this whole adventure.
I mean, I had some really big shoes to fill. Marnie holds a special place in my heart. I mean, we're related. She's my aunt. I have played for her. I've coached under her, and I couldn't thank her enough for all that she's taught me and all the lessons I've learned from her. And she had a big part in preparing this team into what we have now. I mean, she took the last 2 seasons to state, and for the girls that have been there before, all that preparation, she also had a huge part in this win. And going into the season, I was nervous, I'm not gonna lie. Big shoes to fill, big program, talented program, and she was supported me all the way. I mean, I called her almost every day after practice, after games. She has always been there for advice for me, and so I couldn't honestly have done this without her.
Now, you assisted in her program before you took over the reins this year. Ladies, talk about that and knowing this face and having that familiar person. Was that big? Because I'm sure at first when you knew that Marnie was not going to be here, that was probably, oh my gosh, what are we going to do?
It wasn't much of a change for me since she was our assistant coach last year. She already had a big role in our coaching. So I trusted her. I knew she was going to do things right.
This offseason, I mean, I know that you guys are not just high school volleyball, right? So that preparation and coming into this season, and did you know that you had a chance to do something pretty special like this?
Yeah, I think looking back at it, it was easy to realize that during the summer when we started training and started finding our bond as a team, it became known that we had a special thing going on. And when we started winning tournaments like the crossover, getting second soiree, those were all big deals for us, but we had the state goal in mind, and even just not even on the court but off the court was more of a special bond, and I think that's what got us how far that we came. Yeah.
Now, I heard in the past, and I don't know if this is true or not, but if girls played volleyball here at Wenatchee, then that's all you did. You played volleyball, you didn't play any other sports. Is that true? No? Okay, all right.
Not for this crew.
So, do you guys do other things, or is volleyball pretty much it?
Yeah, there's a couple of us that do. Me and Ava and Riley actually right now are all in the basketball program. And there's a couple other people that do track and tennis. And honestly, I think that is why we have a big reason why we have been so successful. A lot of us are multi-sport athletes. There's beach volleyball too, Kira and Claire and Emmy. And so I just think we kind of have a group of athletic girls, which transfers well to playing volleyball.
Okay, so I'll let you hand the microphone down a little bit further and talk about that beach aspect. Now, aside from just Wenatchee High School, we had a state champion in Manson, we had a state champion in Chelan, and I understand that there's a connection there for a program outside of school, right?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Actually, most of the people who played for Manson and Chelan were beach volleyball players. Even Wenatchee, we have a big group how everyone has played beach at some point, and I think that really transfers onto the court. We learn a lot of things through beach that transfer to indoor really well, and I actually my beach is my main thing, so being able to go into indoor with all the things that I learned through beach, and with Coach Des at K Beach over in Chelan, really helps me transfer onto the indoor side.
Now, during the season, we had a chance to broadcast a few of your matches. And I know you said one of the goals that was set, and I want to talk to you more about goal setting, was not to lose a set in Big Nine play. One, you lost one, and that's it. And that came late in the season, right?
Second round when we played West Valley.
Yeah. Goal setting. So when you first got together with these, when was that? I mean, August? When did you guys get together to start getting ready for this season?
Yeah, I mean, so starting June 1st, we can start coaching girls in our program for the upcoming season. And we had summer goals. I mean, we went to a couple tournaments in the summertime, and we had goals there. And then as we came into season, I mean, very first day, very first week, that's something that we sit down and talk about, is setting those not individual goals, but also as team goals. And just that way there's always something that we're working towards. And they tend to like trend with the later in the season. So, you know, winning the Sun Dome tournament, that was our first goal. Winning the crossover, that was the next one. Going undefeated in league, winning districts, not losing, you know, they all just trend down as the season progresses. And we did pretty well on that this year, which is cool.
So the only loss you guys had was to G-Prep, right? So tell me about what that did for you guys. Because some coaches will say, you know, actually losing is a good thing at some point because that kind of helps focus. So that's up to anybody. Talk about responding and coming back from the G-Prep loss.
I think G-Prep was honestly a humbling night for us, and like you said, an important night as well, because like being able to transfer the loss gave us motivation and an idea of what competition might look like in our future. So I think after we took that loss, it kind of acted as a fuel for us in practice to really understand the competition we'd be facing later and work on some things that maybe we weren't able to see in some of our league games. So, yeah.
You guys had great support. There was a ton of people that came down to watch you guys win that state championship, and I'm sure that's pretty cool. What is it like to see this program? And I know some of you have been playing since you were a freshman, long time here with the Panthers. To see that crowd support, to see that continuation through the state title, I mean, what does that mean for you guys?
I think it's a really big influencer into our play when we have fans like that are so supportive and show up. We did actually get a Rooter bus on the first day of state, and so we did expect people to come that day, and we encouraged people to come. But for me at least, I don't know if many other people can agree with this, but I didn't text anybody really for the state championship. I was like all zoned in, so I didn't even think about the crowd. And so when we walked out there for the opening ceremony and looked back and saw like our whole community behind us kind of wrapping around, it was just a big, almost stress relief to know like, even if it was kind of an unconscious message that they were sending us, that like, we're here for you, we're supporting you, and we're excited to watch you guys perform.
Does it help to play and win in Yakima in that setting to come back for the state tournament, you know, a couple months later? I mean, does that help?
It's definitely a great use of visualization and kind of getting yourself in the headspace. I know throughout the season, we started at the Sun Dome crossover, and so that was an early on before season event, and it was very helpful to be able to, I don't know if you've ever been in the Sun Dome, but the depth perception is completely off. The ceiling is so high, it's loud, it's echoey, so it's a lot different than a gym just in our high school.
Well, and playing on that sport court is also different, right? I mean, you don't get the lift maybe that you normally would, you know,
No.
playing at home.
Yep, it's definitely, there's a lot of different aspects, and so being able to have an event and do that early on, like the crossover, it's amazing, and it's super influential for us going into state to know what it looks like, know what it feels like, and be able to implement that into our play.
Coach, you had a chance to go with these girls to state a couple of years in a row. How do you manage that I don't know, angst of waiting 2 weeks before you can play? That would drive me nuts.
It's hard. I think the hardest part too is, you know, there's all the other leagues. We're the only league that does that, and so all the other leagues get some high level play all the way up to the Saturday before brackets come out. And so, you know, one thing that we really focused on as a team was making sure we were doing a lot of bonding things. That way, you know, spending 2 weeks of just practicing, it gets old, it gets tiring. You start getting on each other's nerves, which is completely normal. And so we just tried to focus on the bonding aspect and being grateful for the extra time we had and taking it as the advantage. Like, we might not be getting the game stuff that all the other leagues are getting, but we had 2 weeks to just fine tune some small skills that a lot of teams didn't get to do. And so I think that's what actually worked out in our advantage, was we were able to just really work on some one-on-one skills that you don't normally work on throughout the season. That's more summer stuff and off-season stuff. And I think that's what really came down to helping us at the end. I mean, there's pros and cons to both, but I think at the end we did a really good job at making sure we were staying bonded and working on fine-tuning those skills.
Well, any coach will tell you that it doesn't happen without the entire team. Football, doesn't matter what sport it is. You got to have the scout team. You got to have those to practice against and things like that. Ladies, how important are these gals behind you in those 2 weeks, especially leading up to state and getting ready and you know, having that competitive level? I mean, and if you guys want to talk, you're welcome to do so. I'd like to hear from you as well. How important is that to have an entire team help with this movement?
So every girl on this team is so talented, and coaches said this many times, but if they would be playing for any other team in our league, they would have made varsity, they would have been starting. So they all have like different aspects to them that is super important in our game, and they're all super competitive, and no matter who you play against each other, it's always going to be a competitive game. And I think that's super important because most of our competitiveness this year came from just us scrimmaging each other.
I want to hear from somebody in the back row, whoever wants to hold up their hand and talk. I know my niece played for Ritzville this year. They went to the state tournament. She didn't get to play at all in the Sun Dome. They played for the state championship. They ended up finishing second. But what I was most impressed about with my niece is that she was so energetic from the bench. I want to hear from you to talk about how important that is to support these girls while they're doing what they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it is incredibly important to have every single girl on the team be fully bought in and fully willing to work to achieve goals like this, you know? Like, it doesn't just come from the people on the court working, it comes from the team bond off the court, which we emphasize as a team immensely. We have team dinners, we have team activities, we all love on each other and communicate with each other. And it is really important when you go into an environment as big as the Sun Dome and there's people watching you everywhere to have, you know, that your teammates have got your back every single step of the way. Even, I mean, from the bench, I get as much satisfaction seeing my teammates put a ball away than me having passed that ball on the court. And I love the selflessness and the just dedication from every single girl and all of our teammates to help and love and support on each of us as we go into something as big as that. And so it was incredibly important, and I think it paid off.
Do you guys have a particular cheer or a little routine you do?
We do.
That's kind of a thing, right?
Yes, we all have. I have handshakes with half the girls on here, and we all do. We have all of our little pregame rituals and little things that we do, and we do. Yeah, I think all of those contribute to the bond and the team like dynamic that just makes it so great.
Okay, who's the loudmouth? Everybody points at you. Is that true?
Yeah, I guess I always have a lot to say.
Okay, like what?
I would say typically my thing is that I really enjoy just like reminding the team that like, I mean, just essentially like we got this, like, you know, we may be down right now, but kind of like we were talking about earlier, like this team is special, and like throughout like any game or any tournament we've ever been through, like I've genuinely never been concerned that like we weren't going to pull through. So I think that's typically, it's mostly just, you know, little reminders about things that we need to fix, or just reminders of like, oh, this is going super great, like keep that up.
Yeah.
Like just that kind of
I think
stuff.
that impacts us more as fans watching, because we're helpless. We can do nothing. And 5 sets in the championship, and you know, it's like, oh my gosh. And Riley, you got to talk here. I'm going to have you talk, because I think there was, 2 points in a row, you ended up getting the kill for the state championship. Congratulations on that. But that emotion, how do you not just completely wig out?
If I'm being honest, I wasn't really thinking when it happened. Like, it was kind of just like in the moment, like just swing, don't think. And it's like you have to swing on game point, even if because you have to swing to win.
It's just another point, right?
Yeah.
And does that come from repetition, and that comes from practice, and that comes from this entire grind from August to now?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. So, Ava, I want to ask you a question. Ava Jo, I asked her this in the hallway here a while back. I said, okay, Ava or Ava Jo? Ava Jo. I want to make sure I get that right. In that championship match, did you know? I mean, I know you guys scout the other teams, you know who you might face and things like that. Did you know going in, all right, we can take these guys?
Based on the momentum we had in the past few games, I didn't know the result that we were going to come out on top, but I knew that we were going to give every single ounce of effort and everything we had from every single girl. North Creek, they weren't suspected to win the game before that, and I think we weren't really more focused on them, but just more focused on us. Based on the pregame in the locker room, we spent some time visualizing, getting hyped, throwing out our best dance moves, and so I think leading up, it was more we had faith in each other, and we knew that we were going to give it all more than the actual result. But the fact that we did come out on top felt like was very deserving. So.
Okay, show of hands. In those moments, who wants the ball? Who wants the ball to come to them?
All of them.
Yeah.
All of them. Yeah, me too.
Yeah. See, and that's it, right? I mean, that's the difference between winning and losing, right?
Yeah, I think it's really special that we have so many options available, and as a setter, I had so much trust in each and every person, no matter what position they were in, what the score was, or anything like that.
So do you retire now? I mean, your first year in, you win a state title, for God's sake. Oh, please no. The underclassmen are saying no, please.
No, this is such a special group, and I mean, we're losing some pretty special seniors, and it's, you know, Panther volleyball is not going to be the same without them, but this program has a very bright future. We got a lot of young kids who I want to see them get their moments and get their times to shine, and I'm excited for the future of Panther volleyball and just ready to get back to it. I mean, as great as it is, I mean, we ended on a great win, but I'm sad it's over. This is such a special group, and as long as, you know, the practices were and the season was, now that it's over, I think we can all agree that we would take that extra 2 weeks all over again.
Well, ladies, congratulations. This is a big deal. In fact, I was going through it. This is the 6th state championship ever for Wenatchee High School. Can you tell me which team won 3? Which sport?
Football. Soccer. Swimming. Tennis.
Girls bowling. Yes.
As it should be.
So power.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Thank you for taking us on this ride with you and letting us be part of it, a little sliver of it, and for representing this valley and this school so well. There you go. It matters. Keeping score matters. And if you don't know what the score is, then you don't know who won. So make sure the score is in your favor. We're with the champions here on the NCWLIFE channel.